Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me, as always, is the oh my God, I stumped on it. I had it. It was all there. You know. Oh wow, I'm really, really bad at that. This is the first time.
That's never happened.
Performance anxiety happens to about 40% of men over my age. Um, yeah,
It's
why don't we go with
never
it?
happened.
Yeah. The oppressor of the overhead squat, Bethany McChesney. I had something better with the overhead squat thing, and then it just faded away. It was gone. It's because I didn't write it down. I thought of it like 2 seconds. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm still tired.
No.
I'm still on nights. I'm allowed to be screwed up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just before we start, we were talking about your training, talking about volume.
Yeah. So yeah, training with Rylan right now, my volume's increased. And it's okay. It's not like my volume is anything outrageous. I've been super, super cautious with my Achilles since I came back. And like just over the last year, I've been more erring on the side of caution in general. So I do know it's time to kind of test things out and make sure I can handle a little bit more. So I just haven't really done speed work except for the few weeks before Deca Worlds last year. So it's been a bit. And it is a lot of speed work. And then there's some interesting runs that I've never really done before, like random fartleks based on feel. And I guess I'm such a like follow a program, like prescribe it exactly that runs based on feel. I'm like, well, just tell me what to do because I don't know what you mean. Just give me the numbers and I'll follow the numbers.
Ah,
um, so I really haven't executed those, but I guess I don't really know how you're supposed to execute them. So, and then we did a cadence run today, which the idea is that the ideal cadence is around 180 steps a minute. And they say, so if it's less than that, you could potentially be under or overstriding and heel striking. And then if it's higher, you could be under striking and potentially running too much on your toes. And it works kind of across the board, no matter how tall you are. And so today was a cadence run where we were counting steps in 20 seconds and it was kind of interesting actually, and I have worked on my cadence before, so that wasn't really totally new to me, but actually doing it specifically in a run like that was interesting. So just some different things kind of going on in my training, which is fun. New is always exciting and it kind of adds some motivation back.
yeah, like you're enthralled with them, right? Like your the spark is there. Um, yeah, I started this week. I had to do a 1 mile time trial. And it was for me what I would consider embarrassingly bad.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't go well. It was like a 6:08. It was
That's not embarrassingly bad.
no, but so last year for OCR Stars, I did a 5:47. So it's a good crack off for me. So I mean, but it's to be expected. I've not been running a lot. I have definitely not been doing a lot of speed work stuff. And anything I have been doing as far as running has been like, just like, yeah, it's just not
Interval.
been good. And it's not been consistent. So it's good. It's good to get back out and it's good to eat a little humble pie
Hmm. Yeah.
and show. And like I said, at this point, in a way, I could take a negative away from that it was rough. Or I could say that like I have been contending with the guys in the top 12 of my age for what I want to do for DECA for my goals and stuff. I'm still in the top 12 for the mile. And clearly I am not in the best shape that I need to be.
Hmm.
So when I get in better shape and get in tip top shape, I should be right there with the best. So I'm taking that away. That's my takeaway.
Hmm. And it's a
How's it?
baseline right now. That's kind of, and I mean, usually then you'll use those paces to prescribe your paces.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm like you. I like the plug and paste, and copy and paste pace. Like
Yeah.
this fast. Same with like the rower. Same with like everything.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point. Like I like to make workouts for other people. I like to help them with their workouts. I like to program for them. But for me, I don't want to think about me. I want somebody else to look from the outside and tell me this is what it really looks like. This is what you're really doing. This is what you really need to do. And that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
So the overhead squat thing, obviously overhead squat. So I saw you do yours. It looked really good, actually. You looked like you had a really good number. I think
Hmm.
it could go really well for you. Um,
Yeah, I was like I don't do the movement a lot in training, but I do that type of stuff often for shoulder mobility. So which I do a lot of my mobility stuff is kind of in conjunction with like a strength training. So that's kind of what my Fridays have been. So the movement I don't find the position I should say I don't find uncomfortable. Um, but yeah, I've done so gearing up for RX1 this weekend. The amount of overhead stuff in my race though. Today I did kind of the all of the overhead movements and then I did some overhead work and it's going to be painful. We just and it actually made me it was interesting because watching the Go Rec games and Rylan had said too that he was really beat out when they had to do the overhead holds and then it kind of showed a hole in his game. And again, when you think about like OCR stuff and our functional fitness racing, it's pushing, pulling, and hanging, and we don't do a lot of overhead press stuff. It's just not really in those races. And but at the same time, I mean, we train for so many things being a hybrid athlete that it's like, okay, so this one thing we don't really do very often. And unfortunately, this RX1 race this weekend is so much overhead pressing, and which is probably one of my greatest weaknesses. So it's going to be a bit of a grind, but yeah, thankfully that overhead squat is not super heavy, so I should
yeah,
be okay.
it is really light for the women's expert, and I was surprised because normally when you see like a men's and a women's thing, it's normally and let's just use 100 pounds for the number. It's like say 100 pounds for men, 70 for women, right? So it's like that's 70%. But for this,
Yeah.
it's almost like 50% because
Uh-huh.
it's 95 pounds for men and 55 for women. And like that's a big drop. Like I found for me, obviously I did it. I did the practice, I did it, and I ended up, I'm like, you know what, this isn't for me. I've always been against barbell snatch movement. It's not a movement I like. I don't get the benefit of it. And the hold overhead for the overhead squat. I don't know why that's a more beneficial move than just squatting front, back, whatever. And if someone has it, please explain it to me so that I can get this out of my head and not be so biased against it. But for me, I was able to do it, but I just don't think it's worth the risk for me. So I dropped down. I dropped down a division. I didn't like doing that, but this is not an A race for me.
Hmm.
And I don't want to risk getting injured for my A races by doing something that I know is pushing. And I think it's for me, it's that shoulder mobility, right? It seems to just be just a little too far off. And yeah, I got to go with it. But other than that, it's gonna mean we're gonna have a good race, and I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna drop down in division, and I'm just gonna treat it like a big, like a long workout, and have a good time with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So you miss out on handstand push-ups then.
and that sucks because I like handstand push-ups. I'm pretty good at those, and there's a lot of things that really chest to bar pull-ups too. Like that it is disappointing for me because there's a lot of things in that program that are my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Even the lunge thrusters, the walking lunge thrusters, I like those. Those are good. I'm down with that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
and the weight wasn't too bad. It's like 44 pounds, so that's okay. But yeah, it's disappointing, but I can't risk the injury for it. And
Yeah.
it is a shame, and that does seem to and this is where I might argue that RX1 might not be a hybrid race. Because to me, a hybrid race is lower on the skill level, right? Like with Deca
Yeah.
and High Rocks, it's more basic, what I call real functional movements.
Hmm.
Pushing, pulling, and like lifting kind of almost without form.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah. Push, pull, hinge, squat,
yeah.
lunge.
Whereas RX1 and CrossFit, which I do struggle to like if you asked me to define the difference, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, RX1 is definitely feeling a lot like long CrossFit.
Yeah. Endurance CrossFit would probably be
Yeah.
the best way to put it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and he's still great. I still love it. I had to back out on this one, and hopefully on the next, or drop down on this one. Hopefully on the next one that won't be the case.
Yeah.
But as I'm not really concerned about the championship or anything like that, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing individual race by race basis, and I'll just fly from there.
Hmm.
But well, couple of things, and we do have a guest later. But where was the one thing I wanted to talk to? Quickly, Canadian man, world's strongest man.
Yes, Mitch Hooper, first
Yeah.
Canadian world's strongest man.
I love the strongman competitions. I mean, that's not something I'd never want to get into, but I so enjoy watching it.
Yeah. So yeah, I met Mitch Hooper when I went to go watch my
Oh,
brother
did you?
compete. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he came down, so the competition that was here in Guelph, about a month ago, Mitch
Mhm.
Hooper came as he was the head judge. And so he didn't compete there. And like honestly, one of the nicest guys. Like that culture though, that group was like awesome, awesome group of people. Like the culture was fantastic. Everyone was really friendly, but he was so friendly. And he has a tattoo that says lift heavy, be kind. And it's honestly his motto. So friendly. Yeah, I had my picture taken with him. I'm literally a third of his size, and he wrapped his arm around me and he gave me a little like squeeze, and I was like, oh, like it, like it actually took the breath, like squeezed the breath out of me for a second. Yeah, he's a big guy, so yeah, and his wife is my size. She's a so they're a cute couple. But yeah, anyways, he won which is like the world championships of strongman this weekend. So it
That
was
is
really
awesome.
exciting.
I think it's a thing with those great big guys to have little wives. I met Terry Holland, who's one of the world's strongest men competitors. I met him down in Mexico on a resort, and his wife was just teeny tiny too, and he was like
Yeah.
400 pounds, and
Yeah.
then I think even Lou Ferrigno. I think Lou Ferrigno, same thing. I think it's a thing with them.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I think Mitch would probably be around 400 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's so cool. I mean, it's just great stuff to watch. I haven't seen the actual event, so I want to try to search it out so I can watch it and check it out.
Yeah, so they had some of the similar events that my brother did too. So that one where they throw the heavy kettlebells over the 14-foot bar, they had
Mhm.
to pull a van. They had the like single arm dumbbell press with
Yeah,
like he was pressing. I think his weight was like around 350 pounds with a single dumbbell. And then they had it was like our Atlas stones and put it
mm,
up on a pedestal.
I
But
love that one.
yeah, the Atlas stones were obviously huge. So yeah, they're really fun to watch.
Um, so Go Ruck Games, you said you checked out a bit of the Go Ruck Games.
Yeah, I didn't see like just what videos that people were posting on Instagram. I didn't really see any sort of like live feeds or anything. I didn't know if there was one.
I think Savage actually did a bit of one just off and on
Okay.
Instagram. I don't, and congrats. It was Matt Kempson one, and
Yeah.
I can't remember the woman's name off my top, but I think she's a volleyball player, like a pro volleyball
Yeah,
player.
Carly Wopit. So she's the sister of the guy who runs the Battle Bunker.
Oh, is she? Okay, that's cool. She's a
Yeah.
beat.
Yes. So she makes girls like Katie Knight and Calypso Sheridan look small.
Oh
And
yeah,
she made Matt Kempson look small, to be honest, on the podium.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean that. Austin, who runs Battle Bunker, I mean, he's a big dude too, right? Like that's they come from some big stock.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, it looked a lot like last year with a lot of rucking, some overhead stuff, some sandbag stuff, and then wrestling and whatnot.
Mhm.
And this year, I bitched about it a lot last year. I have no problem with the wrestling this year because they knew what they were doing going into it.
Yeah. And a lot of them had prepared.
Yeah,
But did you see this year they added the weapons?
yeah, kind of like almost like a tactical games thing.
Yeah. And in the rules, it said you got a point if you could make a fatal blow.
I guess they have military stuff. But again, I don't understand the purpose to this event. Just because they didn't stream it, it's like an invite only. It's like I don't get it. I
Hmm.
don't understand the purpose to it, but oh well. I know there was a lot of people who didn't go, who weren't interested because of the wrestling and the other stuff, and because they didn't know what it is, so they don't want to risk injury for their other events and whatnot. So
Yeah, it's one of those events where you don't know what you're doing until you show up, much like Spartan Games. So
yeah, yeah. So I think a lot of real athlete. I shouldn't say that. That's a horrible way to put it because the people who won were real athletes, but a lot of the athletes who, let's say, are focused on something else back away from it because they don't want to risk injury. And
yeah,
it's definitely something that would be very easy to get injured with. Um, High Rock stuff, a little bit of High Rocks news.
yeah.
And High Rocks Anaheim. So let's start with the good one. Why don't you start with Meg?
Yes, we have a women's world record, first lady to break 60 minutes and by a significant margin. So she was 58 high.
Literally did 60 minutes.
Yeah. And in a US course, which is nice to see also. Um, yeah, so 58 minutes for Meg. And the second place girl, so Belle Farland, I forget her
Yep.
last name,
Bell.
Farland, 104.
Yeah,
So
and I think that's her second High Rocks, and she's podium in both, so she's definitely someone coming up.
yeah.
Um,
And I did that get her in the top 15?
I don't think so. Will look quickly, but while I look at that, look so
Yeah.
both we'll go through two. We'll look through that. So we'll see if that put her in the top 15. I don't think it did. Um, it's it is good to see on an American course that she went that fast, and obviously she's good. And undoubtedly with Michaela, kind of from what people are saying, not being at 100% right now,
Mm.
um, this definitely has to make Meg the favorite going into Manchester. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yes, for sure. I'm just checking now. So that does put Belle McFarland in the top 15.
actually where she sit
Eighth.
eighth. Wow, remember? So that time probably last year would have had her sitting like top three.
Yeah, yeah. So she was just 10 seconds faster than Tara Jackson's time.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's really solid.
Yeah, I mean, always known like Tara's always in there, right? She's always in the hunt. She might not be the favorite, but she's going to be right up there.
So this, okay, wait. Yeah, I hopefully this is an updated list though.
Okay, they're usually pretty good about it.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah, because I don't, yeah, they're not showing Meg's time on here though, but they're showing Belle's time. So,
all right. Well, Meg's time would be she would already have her automatic qual because she had
right.
the two podium finishes, so it wouldn't need to show her time. So her qual would probably be listed as the podium time that she had from then. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then and on the men's side, Ryan Kent threw
Mhm.
down like another 57 and looked like he did it coasting.
With a smile on his face.
Yeah. So obviously that course looked like it may have been one of the fastest American courses of all time. And right now Kent has looks like he's coming into form at the right time. A couple of takeaways too on the men's side, obviously. So Hunter came out flying, looking really pretty good. Um, and then come time, he gapped the field, and then come time they hit the sled pull, Kent just caught back up and passed him, which was
Yeah.
was pretty impressive. I mean, to pass Hunter on the sled pull, especially when he'd already gapped you, is pretty impressive. And then carried on, and as they ran, Hunter made a push and caught up to Kent. You could see just Hunter's face in pain. Said something to Kent, and then he just dropped off and dropped out. And his reasoning was he said he wanted a world record today. He didn't have that kind of effort in him. And so why bother finishing? And so I wanted to ask you quickly about that. Like, I am not used to that kind of mindset, but I do understand that it does happen in the track world a lot.
People dropping out when they can't run something.
Yeah, when they can't when they can't hit a time or if they're not going to podium or whatever, and the pace is just off, they just say, "Oh, okay, that's it. I'm done." Is that a little more common?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so much in the short stuff. I sometimes when in the long stuff like a marathon, if you're just racing for qualifying times to make teams or something, sometimes you won't do something like finish a full marathon if you're not going to hit a time because what it will take out of you to finish will require too much recovery time taken away from potentially getting into another build and qualifying in another race with a time. Um, but like I'm a bit it's so funny in this world right now too because we see world records dropping 2, 3 times in a year because this sport is so new. So to hear someone say, "Oh, I wasn't going to set a world record, so I dropped out," that seems a little bit funny to me, because he just set a world record. So to think that your body is going to peak that many times in a short time span, so you're going to better something that you did like a few weeks ago. Um, I'm not really sure why logically that would have been his goal, where it's like world record or drop out. Um, High Rocks isn't so long that he couldn't be back training and you know back at 100% within a couple of days. So I don't really understand the logic behind not just getting it out for the sake of getting the race in. I mean, it's also like this after the sled pull, you feel like garbage. So I think to drop out that early and at that point, and he made a really quick effort to catch up to Kent, which is not going to feel good.
Yeah.
And then you made the decision to drop out. It seemed really, really odd to me. Um, Maybe more like he didn't like the feeling of not winning or maybe being beaten by Kent more so. It was
Yeah,
just
I think it might come down to Hunter realized he didn't have it for Kent that day, that Kent was the better guy on the day, and he decided that I'm not going to give Kent that mental edge going into London, and I'm just going to pull out, and that way he didn't beat me clean. You know what I mean?
but then doesn't Kent have the mental edge anyways because he feels like Hunter is breakable?
Yeah, but
Like
Hunter,
make
right?
a solid push on Hunter and then he mentally can't handle it. Like this doesn't really work in Hunter's favor.
No, no, I know, but I mean, I'm just trying to get the logic to it because I don't understand that. Well, I can't set a record. I'm going home. I traveled all the way here and did all this, and I know Anaheim from Malibu's not that big a travel, but he still put in the effort. He still got ready. He got all ready to race and good to go, and then just no, no, I'm out. I'm out. But whatever, we'll see. I mean, we'll never understand the mind of Hunter anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Two more quick takeaways from there. One, Rich Ryan did not set himself a top 15 time. It doesn't look like he's going to take another stab at it overseas because that was the last chance in North America. So he's going to have to rely on a roll down. I think he's sitting around 17th.
Okay.
So I don't want to say it's unlikely that he gets in, but not too many people turn down that top 15. So barring an injury or sickness or something, I don't think we're going to see Rich Ryan in it. And again, it just shows the the, the poor system they're using for qualifying because Rich should be in there. We all know that. We all know he's quite capable, and on course to course, he's gonna be a top 10 to top 5 guy. So very disappointing. But we've beat that horse to death, and hopefully after London they will fix that. And then Jesse Bruce went down there to Anaheim, and I believe now has the fastest Canadian time. I think he ran faster than Austin with a 103.2.
Hmm.
So 63 with 2 seconds, which is a damn good time. And it's good to see. So hopefully, maybe we'll have some Canadians in the 2024 top 15. It would be super exciting to see. And you'd have to say, obviously,
Hmm.
Jesse and Austin right now are our best bets.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah, like I say, last High Rocks to come. And I think High Rocks is supposed to announce today some more fall races in North America. So
Fingers crossed. Maybe Toronto.
maybe I haven't seen them yet. And granted, I'm still on strange hours, so I haven't even had a chance to check out Instagram. So we'll see. I'll take a look. But let's get to our guest. Uh, we have Leon Kofoed. He's coming off doing the Spartan 3K and a recent Savage race. He came over for a trip, and mostly we want to get his thoughts on the Spartan 3K because this is something that we would have said was hand built for Leon. Was a race that he should be all over. So here we go, Leon Kofoed.
All right, everybody, this is your not host, Leon Kofoed, on the podcast today. And before we get going to whatever it is y'all want to talk to me about, I want to know how you two are doing.
Oh, well, Beth, you go first.
Me, I'm doing really good. I'm on a new training program. I feel a bit beat up, but it's good. I'm excited.
Beat up might lead to very successful and super fit at some point.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm hopeful.
What you training for, Beth?
Mostly functional fitness racing, like DECA.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my goals. But yeah, I'm gonna do some Spartan races locally, but
Are
DECA and
you
World.
trend hopping like 80% of the OCR community here and just abandoning the mud running ship to go and throw weights around and do the very broad jumps?
Well, for me, I don't live near mountains and I own a gym, so the training is just so much more convenient for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's your world too,
That
isn't it,
does.
Leon? Like you.
Oh dang, yeah. I went running today and it was as flat as a pancake. I even ran trail. But I easily kept like a 340 per K for a tempo in the forest, which says a lot about whether or not you're running up or down hills.
Mhm.
Today we called it rolling, but I'm pretty sure most Americans or Canadians would laugh at that term.
Yeah, yeah, and
What about you, Dave? Are you also doing bicep curls, shoulder presses, and tossing sleds around?
yeah, I'm doing that, but I still have my obstacle garage, man. I'm still getting ready. I'm actually going to jump in the Spartan 3K in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might join that one.
Oh, do it, dude. Do it. That'd be awesome. I think it's going to be a good field too, because I think you're going to have. I'm hearing guys like the race brain guys I hear are coming out for that one. So I think
Oh,
Bracken's going to do it. Rich Ryan will be there.
that's
Jack,
motivating.
yourself. So I think it'll be a good fun field. Like I'm not expecting to make the final, but if I can make past Q1, I'll be pretty happy.
The thing is, like okay, so let's talk 3K series. I raced the first North American Elite Series 3K format.
Yeah.
It was a really cool event. Happened down in Florida, pretty close to Miami, in Boca Raton. I think they call it Palm Beach. Much
Mhm.
closer to Boca Raton, though. The event was supposed to have 45 women, 45 men battle it out. And then in the first elimination round, which is a 1K, 10 to 12 obstacles, they would sort out one third of these. Would be 30 people for the second round. At 1K round again, you would run it in like not all at the same time, of course. And then finally, you would have only 15 men, 15 women go head to head in the finals, which would be three, three town, three times around the world, meaning three times 1K, totaling about 36 obstacles. Um, Unfortunately, for the first event, not a ton of people showed up, meaning for the women's category, they actually had to cut out the first qualifier, only host the second qualifier, and only saw 5 women stand at the start line in the actual finals. I do believe that having a lot of other high level events happening at the same time, like Go Rug, High Rocks Anaheim, where a new world record was set for the women by Mecca Jacoby, which was pretty fucking mind blowing, to be honest. Um, that definitely did impact, and I think a lot of people were a little apprehensive to like sign up and fly out. But takeaways were, even though we were not as many as we originally thought, it actually came together really, really well. The men's competition, which obviously was the one that I did, had enough people to go around for 2 prelims and a final, and that was actually a ton of fun. Um, Talking about changing your training up, if you're prepping for any DECA slash hybrid style stuff, this will transfer pretty well into doing this 3K series. It's a much shorter format, but working so anaerobically in your muscles while trying to do like aerobic work here, wow, that was painful. But otherwise fun. So yeah, you guys are chipping in. Beth, are you joining at the 3K in Pocahontas as well, or Pocono?
Okay.
I call it Pocahontas. It's easier to remember.
I'm still on the fence about it.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
pull her off that fence because she needs to go there because like with the women's field being the way it is and her speed and geez, Beth, you can eat this up. There's some cash to be won.
I could probably be swayed.
There you go. See that? See,
But if I'm coming all the way over there to the land of the donut, you're coming as well.
yeah,
Okay, there.
you can carpool with us. We're good to go. Yeah,
Is that like an accessible drive for you too, like where you are?
it's about 7.5 hours.
That's 2 times across Denmark.
Okay, yeah, but for me, that's what we consider an accessible drive. I mean, like anything under
Yeah.
10, anything under 10 is doable, right? That's no problem.
Yeah.
I
I used
actually
to like want to like road trip a lot, and then I went to America, and we my second trip to America, we did like a 3 week road trip. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm good. This is a lot. This is almost too much.
well, I mean, I commute almost an hour and a half each way every day.
Each way,
Yeah,
dude.
so I mean,
You're
like,
so fit. That's
yeah,
incredible.
I can drive. I can drive. I'm like one of the greatest
There you
endurance
are.
drivers in the world.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive.
Like,
Um, so yeah, I think that besides the fact that suburb America somehow ruined public transportation
mhm,
for the entire country,
yeah,
um, then we should zoom back to the Spartan event, which was actually really cool. So if people have a chance to go, I definitely recommend it. It burns, it hurts. Uh, I of course got to run Q1, Q2, and the final. That's not it wasn't a given. I didn't have like incredible times in the beginning, so I was a little worried if I would make the cut for the final. So I can see that if you travel out there and you only get to run 1K, that may seem a little demotivating. Um, but you don't really know until you're there, and all it takes is for one person to make one mistake on one obstacle, which can happen to anybody. You are that person's out. Like you're never gonna recover from a penalty loop on a 1K. No, on a 3K neither. You make a penalty, you're out of the competition. Except Manu Dufoe, who managed to make a penalty and still finish second in the competition, which was pretty mind blowing
he was moving. And
to
I
be
mean, and
honest.
the nice thing about it, I mean, that's a name we don't know, right? That's a new guy on the scene. That's somebody that's not commonplace in the OCR vernacular, and now he's there. So I mean, that was great to see.
Oh yeah, he's a plus 40. He's been crushing races in Europe for a ton of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's when I saw his name, I thought Steve. He was Steve or Jack Bauer. One of them told me, and I was like, "Manu, is he what? Is he coming?" And I was like, "God dang it! I thought I would at least be the fastest European over here." And Manu came and he brought goddamn Janke over to whoop booty and run second place for the women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was great. They were both impressive. So watching the whole format thing, a couple of things that come out that I noticed is one, the rest time between waves was not that much. Like it was a quick turnaround.
Pretty painful.
How much time
Pretty
did you have
painful.
between Q1 and Q2?
Not terribly long. I want to say like 15-ish minutes. But honestly, like that felt pretty good because you've enough time to recover. The hardest thing is like when you ran it, if you had like a not incredible race and you felt like, dang, am I warm enough? Did I like sell out here? Those thoughts are more toxic than rest time. Because you'll maybe enter Q2 a little holding a little bit too much back on effort or overselling or something. So in the 15 minutes, it was like enough to like get a little bit of energy, like get some hydro tabs, maybe get a bit of a bar or some water, a little bit of Red Bull, whatever you needed. And then that was good. And after Q2, we got about a solid 30-minute rest. But of course, the format here, I guess, is relatively new, and I
Hmm.
don't want to oversell a product here. It's just if this is what racing is going to be now, then for this exact format, um, then considering that, it was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty cool.
So I watched it, right? And through OCR report, I was watching it and something struck me, and this is kind of actually something I kind of predicted going into it. I enjoyed watching the qualifying rounds more than the final.
Oh, definitely.
The qualifying rounds looked like a lot of fun and it was high paced and again, higher stakes for any kind of mistake. Whereas in the when
Hmm.
on the 3K final, I mean, once they got a little spread out, that's why Amanda was able to recover because it was a 3K. If he had done that in the qualifying rounds, all of a
We've
sudden
been out.
maybe he doesn't make the next round. Like I think it should be 1K, 1K, 1K. Just three 1K heats. I would love
I,
that.
I I can see I can definitely see the positive parts of doing something like that. I've also participated a few times in an OCR 400 where we have
Mm.
basically a track where you start and finish at the same spot, and you do like I think we had I've tried a few of these where anywhere between like 7 and 12 obstacles. So it is just like high pace, high risk, big jumps, and it looks god dang incredible. I think it's a little hard to get participation for a format like that. It's already like a little bit difficult as it is here. But I agree, like as a viewer friendly element, that is amazing. And also as the OCR report is slowly improving on the live coverage things, I think they will also um, see and learn more about how to cover the different qualifying heats because it's very hard to follow and get in times and splits. But whatever is at first will be a little awkward and a little bit difficult for most.
Yeah, they also had the issue too where Spartan didn't cooperate a bit and they were sending the heats overlapped. So while the first heat was still running, then the next set of guys went. It's like, oh well, let us finish watching those guys and then go to the next guys.
Exactly, because I mean, you could have just sent Q1 off with like a 10 minute,
Yeah.
so that every lap would like. But is it then is it then unfair because like Q2 knows how fast to go, Q3 definitely knows like how fast to go. I don't know about that. You could of course just keep that information like not shared.
Hmm.
But I would have liked to see the coverage where you would divide it up a little bit more. But of course the coverage would be quite long because then you would spend at least 40 minutes on Q1, a little less on Q2.
Yeah.
It's a long coverage, right?
Yeah. It's long. Did did they tell you beforehand how much rest you would have and stuff like that?
Nah, I figured most of that stuff out when I got there. Like, we had ideas, and there's been like test events in Mexico and so on. And I know people from the Philippines who raced, so try to get a little hook on it. But I didn't want to set my mind specifically on something because imagine I start doing like a bunch of visualization, and then you go there and it's been changed. So Beth, imagine you want to go to do a deca, and all of a sudden they tell you, well, instead of doing ramp burpees, you have to do ramp burpee backflips like just beforehand, and you're like, wait, what? I did not prepare for this. But you visualize and train for something. So if I train for a specific thing and I show up and I mean, decade and never gonna do ramp burpee backflips because it's like it's super dangerous and nobody can do it. Like almost nobody can do it. Um, so of course that wouldn't happen. But an event like this where everything is a little bit fluid and ever changing right now because it's a new thing, I didn't want to like prepare for anything specific there. Um, but had I known like more about the time, I would maybe have tried to simulate it a little bit more. Because I mean, it was great training. I feel like I'm in better shape after having done the 1K, 1K, 3K. It's just like a really hard workout.
I sorry, Beth, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to know how you felt about the obstacle choices, because just from the list that I saw, there was only really one actual failable obstacle, just the one reg.
And seawall. But yeah, I agree. I think obstacle selection where wasn't optimal. But then again, um, I also understand that they built this course around the 3K, around the sprint course the following day. They had to do with whatever they had around, and I'm sure the obstacles will change. So it's not like total standardization. And if this was like televised, they would probably and had a bunch of money, they would probably be like prioritize some obstacles that were like even cooler. So you would make sure that maybe twist is there or another rig or a different type of carry or a hoist. Like a hoist is just legendary. It's also interesting to like not have the spear in there. I mean, I missed my spear the next day, so maybe it's a good thing. Um, but that's also so classic Spartan, like throwing a spear. I mean, I don't, I've never enjoyed it as because I think it's a little random in some senses.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, definitely you could have chosen other obstacles. If you had unlimited money and unlimited time, you could probably have made an incredible setup here. But for what they had, and I ran the sprint course the next day to get an understanding of the terrain. I see for what they had going on there, it was actually pretty good.
Now, something happened, and this is a pet peeve of mine, Leon, and I imagine as an obstacle dude, it's got to drive you nuts too. Maybe
Ooh,
I'm
hurt
wrong.
my feelings. I know where you're heading. I'm already
The
single tearing
straps,
it.
grabbing the straps.
Oh, not even that. No, I fell off the rig. I thought you were going to
Oh,
bring
no, I'm
that.
not. Jesus, Leon, I wasn't even going to mention that. I was going to leave that, just let that
I'm
slide.
going to mention that. I'm going to need to make a lot of fun of it because that was just stupid. But it's actually a little bit funny because a lot of the qualifiers I ran, I didn't get a lot of coverage because I was in like the second
Mhm.
heat. So the rapids weren't there. But I was actually running really well. I was doing stuff quite well. And I was like, dang it, son, I'm fit. Like this is like going good. Training's been good. I flew to America. I'm like, I'd like to get like that thing
Mhm.
going on. And then they show like the last lap of the final where I'm like clinging onto a rig and I make just the stupidest mistake you can imagine. It was like half arrogance, half just being a child. Like I grabbed to one of those Spartan rings. Anybody who ran a Spartan sprint in America, North America, knows that those rings are a little bit slippery of nature.
Yep, the black plastic ones.
Um, Black plastic ones or red plastic ones, and they're a little slippery. And we had very wet hands. I just forgot to account for the fact that, of course, other wet hands had already been on the ring. So when I let go and started swinging, I just immediately felt like, nah, that didn't work. I knew it would happen before I fell off. I was like trying to hold on to my dear life, but yeah, at that point, I was just pretty gassed, like I felt like I could probably have done pull-ups, but like my actual like gripping ability at that point was a little bit off. So that was pretty embarrassing. I'm still working on like how to make more jokes about that. I got a little bit of video from it. I want to title my blog about the race "The Day I Failed the Rig."
Oh God, the Spartan rig.
A Spartan rig. The day I failed a Spartan rig. We need to make a little fun about that. I
Yeah.
should get back on my own program and take things a little seriously. It's not that I haven't been training. I have. It's just I made a little mistake during the race, and everybody does
Well,
sometimes.
sometimes I've had that happen to me before, where you're almost like one apparatus ahead. You're thinking one ahead, and you're not focused on the one you're on. So I'm thinking about the
Oh
next
yeah,
grab, and I'm not focusing on the one that I actually have in my hand.
definitely, definitely, and and furthermore, yeah, like the grabbing on straps rule is stupid. It shouldn't be allowed. But and I think the organizers agree. It's just that the rule book hasn't been updated and it hasn't been changed. So until
But this
then,
is
people
this.
grab hold of whatever you want to grab hold of. But I mean,
I
expect
have
things
no
to be
problem with
different.
I have no problem with the people who do it because it's within the rules and they're letting them do it. I have, like I said, this has been a thorn in my side for what, 3 years now that have been going on about
Yeah,
this.
definitely.
So they've had time to change this rule, and they just wrote the rule for the 3K. They went to the trouble to
Mm.
put on the harder apparatus to make the rig hard,
Oh, definitely,
and then they're
definitely.
like, don't use it.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame. I mean, um, also even like they had nunchuck ropes on the rig, and those ropes were actually pretty nice to grab
Yeah.
because they kind of sucked some of the moisture out of the hand.
Mhm.
Whereas a plastic ring will just leave you on
Mhm.
your booty.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that was just this thing. At first, nobody was using it. Like I saw, and I'm like, oh, great, great. Maybe they put the rule in, and then I saw a couple of people go do it, and then everybody's going to do it. And I was like, oh, damn it.
On the last lap, I noticed like people were getting tired.
So that was a big thing when everybody said when they did the Spartan Cross was they couldn't believe how bad it sucked their grip and how taxing it did. So from you,
Mm.
who's like uh, in the OCR community, a grip legend and has the awesome grip program, which you can still order, which is a fantastic program. I've said it for years, done it myself.
It's actually going quite well. Like every other day, like new people are taking in and like trying to get a grip at home, which is really cool.
It's a fantastic workout.
Feedback's still great. So I thought I would have to like update that thing more regularly, but I just think it's a good program. So that it's like it'll live for a long time without having I don't have to do a lot of stuff about it. And now it's out in like 6 languages, which is pretty cool. So if anybody want to practice Spanish or German or Italian or Dutch, it's right there.
Is that you talking Spanish, Italian, and Dutch, or is this like
Oh
a
shit, no,
dub?
no, dude, the videos
Because
are
I'm
still
gonna get it
English.
just to watch you speak in the other languages.
Oh, I wish. I mean, I could. No, refilming those would take forever. I don't know if people appreciate like how much time I spent filming these things on crutches and then editing videos and study. That was I mean, I was on my booty with a broken leg, so I had some chill time. Um, but yeah, that was definitely that took time. Took a lot of time.
Well, it was worth it. It was worth it for me. It helped me a lot. I know that.
Oh,
But yeah, so I
appreciate
was
it.
saying, how was it taxing for your grip? And plus, it didn't have quite as
Oh,
many grip
dude,
obstacles
my
as
my
the
arms felt nothing.
yeah.
Nothing. My arms felt not a single thing during that race. I just ran so hard that
Mhm.
like my entire body and system just failed. Like honestly, a Spartan monkey bar, if you get up to that, like you have super no heart rate, you're kind of warm, everybody could do the Spartan monkey bar. All right, dry, good temperature, you're warm, you're feeling good. I could teach almost anybody with like enough grip strength to hold on body weight to do that obstacle. So could you, not a problem. Now add in moist, add in speed, but even more like add in just fatigue. If you have to do one Spartan monkey bar, but before you do that, you do a 1 mile fastest time of your life, and as soon as you're done with that mile, you have to do the monkey bar. The monkey bar all of a sudden becomes an issue. Um, so yeah, I think that even though the obstacles are simple, and if you put them out individually, they would be very easy obstacles to handle. It does become a little hard, like when you're super fatigued. For me, it wasn't a grip thing. Like, do I
Yeah.
have like enough strength? When I fell off, it was more like I misjudged the wetness on the actual ring. So when I could feel it, I was like, oh no, man. It's just me being not cautious enough for this setup I was in. But like actually feeling tired in my upper body. No, I think if you added in maybe like a Herc hoist and a twister,
Yeah.
now we're talking about it. Now, especially the Herc hoist, I think people would get fatigued because it's so much like pull with biceps and back muscles.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be good too. Like if they could throw a few more. So if you were to that's so I guess if you were to improve it, that's how you would improve it. Just put in a few more taxing things.
Yeah, sure. It would depend on like what they had available, of course. I don't think we should uh, go rock style and shove
No.
weight on people and stuff. I want people to move fast and I want it to look good. I know like some of the guys were joking around with like double sandbag, but can you imagine like you're trying to watch this like super high pace, super cool event, and then all of a sudden you have 15 top athletes literally walking because they're weighed down by like almost their entire body weight.
Yeah.
It looks so stupid. Um, I like the speed, I like the movements in there. And yeah, I like the format as well.
Yeah.
No complaints there. Of course, I mean, I also really liked running Savage Race like a few weeks before that. It's always a blast and it's always a really, really good time. So that's really great. What are you guys doing for OCR events like the next half a year? I know Beth, you're doing DECA, of course, but
Yeah.
you're both going to Pennsylvania, but are you doing other like local events or are you traveling for anything?
Beth.
Yeah, we're not really that close to Savage races. So we'd have some Spartan races that are kind of local, like within that 7 hour drive radius. And that's about it.
Yeah. I as well. I'm gonna hit. Well, there's a couple ones. Like I said, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna go down to Pennsylvania, hit maybe a local Spartan and stuff like that. Um, we did, and we're hopefully gonna cover this soon. We did just find out actually that one of the Canadian OCRs that had gone away, called Northman, is actually firing back up. So
Oh,
so
sweet.
so that's great news to hear. And I may go and do.
Oh,
We
that's
have another.
the organizer that made like Goth, right?
Yeah. Marco Bedard. Have you ever heard of Marco Bedard?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's running it.
Sweet.
So I mean he's a former Canadian Olympian and an OG obstacle course racer, like one of the best back from the beginning,
That's
back in the
incredible.
Cattle Frog days.
That's really, really good. I hope he figures out a way to market that so
Yeah.
people show up.
Oh yeah. Well, Northman was here for a while and it was good, and they were getting really good turnout. And then let's just say there were some ownership slash business people issues and
Oh, yeah. That's
went
like a
away.
classic way of killing things.
Yeah, exactly. And went away. And now it looks like, and we're hoping to be talking to Marco next week. So we We'll find out all the details, but now I believe it is him fully in charge and doing the whole thing. So that can
Mm.
only spell great things. So yeah, that, and I might hit a dead end 3K. We'll see. But I have a lot of DECA stuff too. It's again because we have now
You
five
guys
deck.
gonna be like way more jacked than me when I see you again. When you meet
Yeah,
at like
well,
OCRWC or something, Beth, your biceps are gonna be like busting me out.
Beth's
Dave, your
always
shoulders are gonna
jacked.
be like this big. Like it's gonna be hard for you to like even do a running motion for those big shoulders. That's
No,
good.
I don't think that's my body at all. I don't think I can do it. I can't go off like that.
I imagine you only eat like rice and chicken at the moment, just blended with like raw eggs, just like get bigger biceps for like that kind of stuff. So it's just like
She's just walking through the Whole Foods, and everybody's like, "Who's that girl with the quads? Oh my god!"
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
all
you
in.
should just change your Insta name to like Quadzilla and just get at it. Like
Yeah, much more legs than arms.
yeah.
But
Oh. All
yeah,
right,
it's
guys. I know I'm running into a
yep.
time limit before long. Anything y'all want to talk about before it's
No,
bedtime?
we're good, and we just appreciate you coming on. Anything that you want to plug again? Put out your grip program where we can find it because it is
No,
still
that's
there.
cool. That's cool. It's on my website, leonkofoed.com, where y'all can read funny blogs as well. But I no need to plug it. I feel like it's been plugged a lot and people really dig it. That's really good. I was glad to see you guys again, and it looks like you're both doing really well.
It's fantastic, buddy. Beth, take us home.
Yeah, thanks so much, Leon, for joining us. And congrats again on your 3K this weekend. And we will be seeing you soon, maybe at the next one.
Maybe.